President, distinguished delegates, colleagues, it is a pleasure to be here today here in Vilnius, with all of you, representing the Spanish Ministry for Equality in this official opening of the European Institute for Gender Equality. As it already had been said, the role of the European Institute for Gender Equality is to assist the European institutions and the member states in the promotion of gender equality in all community policies and the resulting national policies, and in the fight against discrimination based on sex. From these headquarters here in Lithuania, this institution has to shed light all over Europe, carrying the equality torch. To do so, the Institute receives a good, bulky inheritance from the good work done until now by the EU Commission, by the Council, and by the European Parliament. These institutions had managed to do major advances in gender equality all over the European Union, thanks partly to the Lisbon Strategy objective of raising female employment to the rate of 60% by 2010, to the Barcelona objectives regarding improvement and in the availability of child care facilities, to the European Pact for Gender Equality, already referred, to the European Commission's Roadmap for Equality between Women and Men, 2006-2010, that now is being revised, to the legislation on gender equality, to the implementation and monitoring of the Beijing Platforms Act, and the many actions taken by NGOs and social partners to bring about gender equality. This is what you inherited. Spain is convinced that it is necessary to reinforce the gender architecture within the EU system, with institutions such as this institute, in order to create a solid and a strong specialized entity at the highest level possible and to provide it with the necessary resources. In the EU, intense efforts have been made, as I mentioned, to encourage equality between men and women, to recognize women's human rights and their entitlement for full citizenship. This had ensured that equality has been formally incorporated into the legislations of member states as one of their basic principles. It has even become one of the fundamental principles and pillars of the European Union. We, Spain and Portugal, just celebrated this year the 25th anniversary of our entry in the EU. And as is most member states, the Spanish government equality policies have been following and working within the framework of the European Union legislation and Community Acquis, which has enacted important legislation on equal treatment for men and women and have pushed governments to fight against inequalities. The mainstreaming principle of gender equality, reaffirmed in Beijing and incorporated into community law by the Treaty of Amsterdam, or the money allocated in the European Social Fund and Cohesion Funds, have provided direct aid to gender equality projects and have also acted as an incentive for economic activity in general. The opinions and sentences of the European Court have been a milestone for member states to continue working and improving their equality policies and act as a model for other legal systems. However, the legal recognition of the formal equality of women and men in the eyes of law has not resulted in real equality. In other words, the customs, practices, and inertia that have been used to discriminate against women by prioritizing men's viewpoints, men's activities and representations remain partially unchanged. This is so in spite of the important participation of women in economic life, in spite of the fact that women represent today more than 60% of university graduates, even though there is still a lack of female representation in all power spheres and domains of social life. And we as societies are still not making full use of women's talents within our societies. Until now, only cis women have reached the highest positions of responsibility within their countries. And the objective of parity has still not been achieved within European institutions and most governments, as it was evident during the recent election of EU commissioners and representatives when the Treaty of Lisbon came into effect, that we didn't achieve parity in the highest level. Some of the data mentioned previously, according to the report of equality between women and men that is published yearly, and the one of 2009 says that the average of women representatives within national parliaments in 2008 was 28%, only 1 point more than in 2004. So very little advance. The percentage of women in national parliament is over 35 only in Spain, Belgium, Denmark, and the Netherlands, and it's over 40% only in Finland and Sweden. The percentage of ministers in national governments has also increased, but not so much, from 22% in 2005 to 26% in 2008.